before I was Khadijah that made the TikTok videos or Khadijah that worked at Adobe, I was Khadijah that was working at Hooters. Khadijah that was working at PetSmart. Khadijah that was working at all of these odd jobs, PF Chang's, having to work 2 to 3 jobs at once. And I think it is so important for me to always tell that part of the story, because I think when we get into these spaces of like calling your career pathways, everybody only wants to start at like the very executive or the glitz and glam. You have to put in the work. Like that, I cannot undermine. I cannot exclude. I'm not saying that you have to work at like a Hooters forever, right? And I'm not saying you need to shame yourself at working at those places. But me working at Hooters, I was able to save money to be able to conduct marine biology research in the Galapagos. The extra money I needed, I was working overnight stock at American Eagle, and I absolutely hated it. I do understand the balance of like work life balance and all of that, and you know, whatever the case may be. But understanding you're going to have to start somewhere. You're going to have to start somewhere. And while I was getting my bachelor's degree, I was working 2 to 3 jobs at one point. At one point, I was working on an alpaca farm to get my animal hours because I needed that to go to vet school. And those animal hours were able to translate to my grad school application when I was going to become a marine biologist. When I became an academically trained teacher, as you know, I was in AmeriCorps, which is the domestic version of the Peace Corps, and I was teaching full time in an under resourced school. I had to teach biology full time during a pandemic while getting my field hours for teaching, studying for certification, and also getting my master's degree. Yes, I don't have any debt from my master's degree, but it was not free in terms of the labor I had to do. There were contracts that I had to fulfill. Even though I am doing research in love, doing research in education, doing research in respectability politics, front facing to y'all, it may be like, oh, this is really cool. At minimum, I read 100 pages a day. That's just from a book. That's not including my research articles that I do. That's not including the things that I have to write about. You cannot skip the step of working, and it's not going to be sexy, cute, fun, hot all the time.